So I managed to get my hands on a Nexus 7, a new Nexus 7, and we're going to take a look at it. And I actually haven't used a Google tablet, I don't think ever before. I had an original Droid that I just got bogged down faster than I would have liked. So I haven't handled Android in a while. We'll see what we think as I figure this thing out. So I never handled the original Google Nexus that much, but when I did, it felt heavier in this. It seems like the weight lost, it's not a ton, but it definitely seems noticeable. Seems a little less rubbery on the back than it used to be, which I guess depends on your taste on whether you like that or not. I think it seems a little less cheap because of that. The screen does look really good. The resolution's really strong. One thing that I like about this so far is just the little things about it, the little things that it does well. I had heard about this. I can't remember what it's called now. I think it's called Google Now, actually. But it kind of just takes from what you're doing. It starts figuring out not only what information you need, but when. So if you're at work and you use it for emails, it'll start showing you email notifications. At the beginning of the day, if that's when you check the weather, that's when the weather is going to be there. And the stuff you don't need, you swipe away. And it also shows you things that are going on locally, which I thought was really cool because I just started this thing up and it started showing things in the area that I didn't know about. One thing that I was worried about with how my old Droid phone was the lagginess of the OS. Just it did not feel good moving around. And maybe as more things, I put more apps on here, it'll get sluggish. But right now, that's not seeming the case. It's seeming really, really fast and really smooth, which is what I'm looking for. So it looks like Google's really, really improved um, their OS since I last used it to any significance. Alright, so I haven't downloaded any apps yet, specifically so we could go through this on here, and that way we can see if the process is very painless. So I'm going to hit the Play Store button. Pops up a bunch of possible things you may want. Let's start with the things that I know I'm going to want. Anything movie related, so I'll start with Netflix. It looks pretty good, the way it shows all the images. Again, it's really fast, really quick, very similar to how it looks on iOS, but I don't know. I'm liking this minimalistic look. So I'm gonna hit install. Let's see, it's asking if I want it to do all of these things. Read phone status and identity of phone calls. I'm assuming that it'll stop if you get a phone call, which I don't know how many phone calls I'm going to get on my tablet, but okay. So that's downloading. So far I'm liking the thing, but I haven't really played with it that much, so I'm going to keep messing around, and if anything else comes up to me, I'll say it here. So I used the tablet overnight, and I'm still figuring it out. I'm still getting the quirks down, and I was about to come on here and talk about how there's already some hitches and stuff that I'm not loving that make me feel like if you're into iOS, there's not a really great reason to switch to Android. And then as I got on my iPhone to shoot this, my camera locked up and just wouldn't open for a couple minutes on my iPhone. So I felt a little hypocritical to say something like that. Basically, both of the OSs are somewhat inconsistent, somewhat glitchy. So just go with what you feel most comfortable with. But I really do like the Nexus 7, the new Nexus 7. And I'm going to keep playing around with it, and I hope that I find a regular use for it. But right now, the 7-inch tablet and the 10-inch tablet are so different. They feel different. The widescreen style of the Nexus 7
just makes it such a different tablet that to compare the two doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There are things that I would grab the Nexus for way faster than I would the iPad, but there are a lot of things I'd rather do on the iPad just because of the bigger space. Writing is a big thing for me, and I couldn't really see myself using the Nexus for writing as much just because it's either too tall or too wide. The screen looks great. The resolution is really high on it. The only downside is a lot of the apps don't take advantage of that yet because work on the apps are split between so many devices that a lot of them just haven't optimized for the Nexus 7 yet. One little thing that I really like on the Nexus 7 is that when you press the power button and turn it turns off like an old CRT television. It's a really small little thing. I don't know if it's unintentional. It seems intentional, but I really like that little touch. I really like that's the way it looks when it powers down. So basically right now the best advice I can give is if you are interested in the Nexus 7, that's probably enough. You'll probably enjoy it. If you're used to iOS, there's definitely some things to get used to, but it's the same way either way. This whole Android versus Apple thing, it's seeming sillier and sillier to me as I use both of them because they both have gotten really strong by competing together to the point where either of them are a fine choice. I might do an addendum to this at some point when I've used it some more and I have some more long-term feelings on it, but with the first use,